Thank you for joining us. We are joined once again by Satish Thopte, our Executive Director of Technology and Product here at CheckAlt. Today, we're going to talk further about Gen AI and its use here at CheckAlt. From a previous video and a previous article, you may have learned more about how we're using Gen AI and creating Genie, how ingenious it is. But today's topic, we're going to focus on other ways that we're using AI here at CheckAlt. So Satish, welcome again, and tell us, how are we using AI beyond Genie?
Thank you, Theresa. This is an interesting topic, and as rightly we talked about Genie in last session. Today, I'll basically cover the other use cases which we are, using in CheckAlt. So, high level, the image recognition, that's a critical piece of our business. In payment processing, specifically when you have the checks, we are processing checks. The critical piece is how do we basically make sure we get the right information, as well as we process, scan other documents, EOBs. So image recognition is one thing. The second thing is the driving developer efficiency with AI. And third thing is leveraging AI, Gen AI in contract lifecycle management.
Thank you. So, all right, let's dig into one and peel back the layers a little. Image recognition, you said EOBs, so the explanation of benefits that we get from our insurers and our healthcare providers. So tell us more. Let's dive into the image recognition piece a little bit, and then we'll take the others in turn.
Absolutely. So image recognition is, as I said, a critical piece of our business. We started leveraging AWS Extract. That's a AI-powered OCR. That's optical character recognition. This is one of the, I would say, mostly widely used one. We do basically extract data from the images and leverage it. We are using MyTech intelligence on our products, as well as we are looking at leveraging Google Cloud Vision OCR tool as well. So we are not basically stuck with one, but we are trying to see and get the most stuff from the existing, OCR tools, and how we basically use those ones along with the LLMs, that's large language models, and get the right information. So whether we scan paper, whether we scan document, whether we scan explanation of benefits, or whether we can check here in US or Canada, we get the right information populated, and that there's a less keying later on, rather everything is automated. That's where basically we are going with this image recognition tool.
Excellent, thank you. All right, let's go to the next item, and that was driving developer efficiency.
Yeah, again, another interesting one, and specifically those are in a technical field or is interested, basically how do I basically write something pretty quickly. So what we found when AWS Q developer came in, we looked at the power of that AI tools, those AI tools. The first thing what I found was we can certainly leverage this to write the boilerplate code, which is the repetitive code. So instead of basically solving real business problems, developers often spend time on that. So that is something which will be able to do it with the AWS Q developer. So they can focus on building the impactful solutions. The second thing which I found was the onboarding of new developers with the complex application architecture, because this is a low-code, no-code platform. People are talking about that like a couple of years. This was built 10 years plus. So think about the architecture and the complexity involved, so that basically solves the payment processing problem. Our goal is to accelerate the AWS Q Developer Assistant in helping writing the existing code logic relatively quickly, which basically reducing the learning curve. While we're doing this, the intent is how do we basically make sure we get our product roadmap features to our clients faster than earlier. So 2024, we made a good progress in terms of having the capacity model and driving our with the intent of delivering at the right time. Now here is basically is even better is that driving it faster for our clients. Now there are other things which is while we are driving, we want to make sure that we are not, we are basically taking care of the quality, which is why we would be using AWS Q Developer to write the automated test cases. So use this as much as possible in the earlier phase of the life cycle. So shift left, get that in automated test cases run. So when we go in QA or in UAT, we have less work to do. At the same time, we are making sure that everything is tested as much as possible. To add to that, the other thing which we thought that it would be good to get leverage it to get the documentation from AWS Q Developer. This is always comprehensive documentation, always crucial, but it's missing in many products. Our vision is to basically enhance this documentation at the method level as much as possible. So when there's a problem, we are not dependent on X person, but rather looking at the documentation. And here I can tell you that Genie, which we talked last time, will play a bigger role, that through that documentation, when we feed that information to Genie, Genie will tell exactly which piece of code or information they would need to consider while updating, modifying that particular piece of thing. So those are the, I would say, AWS Q Developer APIs, AIs, which we are planning to use it. So which we are trying to say that, let's make the most AI-driven development in our day-to-day life.
So just to recap a few of the things that you touched on, it's helping with boilerplate code so we can focus on the more important coding and innovative work, I would say. Developer onboarding so we can decrease the learning curve and get the time to market much faster. Yeah. Increasing the quality of the test cases, which, yes, we did talk about that in Genie too, is the whole process, of helping us test before we even go into UAT and then into production. And then the documentation, enhancing and completing documentation. And so it's not just knowledge in one person's head or on their hard drive or waiting on their calendar to be able to talk to them, but it's being able to tap into that information and those insights very readily so that we're not at the whim of someone's calendar.
That is very cool.
Excellent. So are there other ways? I mean, if this isn't enough, are there other ways that we're using AI across the company? I know, like, for instance, with one of our solutions, we have this Remember Me functionality with machine learning. And tell me about that. I think that's an interesting use case too.
Yeah, absolutely. So we are using AI in terms of, what are the changes are made but in the merchant portal. We basically are capturing using our LLMs and making sure that that information is captured well. So next time when user comes in, they do not go back, hence increasing the productivity of any user, any client on our merchant portal. And that's basically something which I would say, it's absolutely a great feature. Not many companies offer that, but this is something what I would say is a great feature to save time and increase the productivity of keying, as well as the folks those are on looking at the information of check back and forth. Mm-hmm. What are the exceptions they are having? So those exceptions they can feed it. Our product will understand what they basically changed in the past. Product will make those corrections, suggest those, so they do not have to basically spend time in analyzing those and making sure that they just focus on the newly added exceptions.
Excellent. And I think one particular use case and case study that we have is with our Catch solution. One of our bank clients changed account numbers, which happens. And when the customers went into their online banking bill pay or went into to pay something at the bank, they may have entered their old account number. So that will drop to an exception because it's not matching, of course. So the first time that happens, the bank employee will go in and update to be the accurate number. So it reads that this was meant to be this. But that Remember Me functionality within the tool, they don't have to do that again.
No, they do not.
It remembers that this old number is what they meant for the new number, and it won't drop to an exception further. Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. So that's a great use case. And think about it, someone, forgot the account number. Now in this case, it is not dependent on user. Even though it's another user, but then the system knows the account number changed on that particular record or payment. It basically suggests you to use the new one. So this is independent of an user. So not keeping that in your head or writing it somewhere, but the system is making sure that you have that on your fingertips and recognizes it.
So the old account number knows that it should be the new account number. What a time savings.
I think the other use case which we see is pretty much really good in terms. We are having so many prospects. We work with our partners, channel partners. We work with direct clients. While we do this, there are multiple contracts which we receive during this phase, multiple legal documents. So we're trying to leverage, Gen AI in reviewing this process or the documents, redlining those, which will help us to accelerate revenue realization, as well as having the integration with the Salesforce. So from it will have a traceability of from Salesforce to until the contract is closed. This will also help us, our relationship managers, our sales team, to handle amendments, pricing. So I feel using Gen AI even in the contract lifecycle, that would be a really value add with our legal team, with our relationship team, and the sales team.
So if I'm understanding correctly, putting on the hat of who this benefits is we've all been through that process of either receiving an RFP or putting a request for proposal out there for someone to bid work. It's that whole process of taking hours or, getting information from 3, 4, 5 different places that just takes so long in the beginning to complete an RFP. Gen AI is going to let us pull that together much more quickly, either to respond to RFPs or then on the back end with red lines. Everyone's legal team likes to go through, not just ours, but our clients and our, even our vendors. There is a very time intense process to go through and review everything line by line. But what the generative AI will help speed that process and make it much more efficient, so we can then get back to each other much more quickly. Is that
absolutely
fair?
And in turn, it will basically reduce the overall life time taken for the contract negotiation as well as finalizing it. So it will benefit our clients as well. If someone is really in need of having implement the solution as quickly as possible, reducing the contract lifecycle, that would help us to start the implementation early and finish it and start the solutioning offering. I would say more earlier than before,
and help our client get to market that much faster.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Satish. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Theresa.
And thank you to our
listeners. It's always nice talking to you.
Oh, it was great talking to you as well. Thank you, Satish. And thank you to our listeners. And, we'd love to hear from you. So drop us a chat in LinkedIn and let us know, how are you using AI at your business, or how do you see AI or Gen AI helping payments in general? And in the meantime, do jump over to our website, checkalt.com. Follow us here on LinkedIn. And until next time, have a wonderful day. Thank you again, Satish.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.